Hi everyone. Today I will be talking about the Leetcode 128 problem, which is on longest consecutive sequence. So given an unsorted array like this, array of integers, we need to find the length of the longest consecutive element sequence. And the given that given such an array, unsorted array, we need to find in on time complexity. So one of the way we can think of is like whenever we get an unsorted array, we can first thing comes up in our mind is that we can just sort it out, right? So just sorting it out would definitely do our thing. Like we will get this array. Okay, so sorting would will give us this new array. Okay, and we can easily then see that the maximum longest consecutive sequence is 4. All right, so this is one of the solution, but the point over here is the LeetCode 128 says that it needs to find out in on, because since sorting would take on log n time complexity, that is the case over here. So that's why we are going to think of another solution, and we will have to think in some other way, like uh, uh, what could possibly be done in order to get the consecutive sequence of the unsorted array. So let's see. So let's just our array was this, but I am just giving one more example to make you understand three things. First of all, any given array can have n number of sequences. So let's take this example. If you see over here, we can see this 100, 101, 102. This is one of the sequence, right? Another sequence you can see is 1 2 3 4. All right, another sequence you can see is 200 and 201. So we can see clearly that there are three sequences, all are having like different length. So length over here of this is 3, length over here is 4, and length over here is 2. So longest length is 3. So this is the longest sequence. This is what we need to find out. So one thing is that we can have a number of sequences over here. Here it is 3 sequences we are getting. So any array can have n number of sequences. First thing is this. Second is we need to find out the starting point of the starting point. Like if we iterate to each element of an array, we need to figure out whether that number is a starting point or not. If that number is the starting point of the sequence, we need to consider it. So we need, second thing is we need to find out the starting point of the of a sequence. Another thing is we need to keep in, we need to check is that whether that starting point or a starting point of a sequence has other numbers in the sequence or not. So we need to check consecutive numbers consecutive numbers in that sequence. All right, so three things we need to check. So that's how we are going to approach this problem. So what we can do is, given such an array, we can take the set of this array. So taking an extra space, we can easily deal with this problem, and iterating through this array only once would do our job. So it will just take the time complexity of n, but it will take an extra space, so therefore the space complexity would be on. So what we are going to do is we are just going to take the set of this array, and then what we need to do is iterating through each element of the array. So let's say this 100 is the first element. We are going to check the left neighbor of every element in the set of an array. So we will have this set. We will just check whether this particular element has this 99 in this set or not. Okay, so if it do not have the left neighbor to it, then definitely it is the starting point of a sequence, of one of the sequence. So we will, at the very same time, we will just you know then we will just check whether 101 next consecutive sequence is present in the set or not. 101 is present in the set or not. If not, then we will just note down the length of it. Then again what we will do is, since we are iterating through it once, the when we come up with to the second index I is equals to 1, we will check again whether 3 is present in this particular set or not. Since 3 is already present in the set, we can't consider this 4 as a starting point of of a sequence. So one of the sequence was 100 and it's ended. Another sequence we are just finding it out. So 4 cannot be another sequence starting point, so the loop comes over here 200. So 200, it will check whether 199 is present in the this set or not. Since it do not have this 199 present in this set, it will consider this as a starting point of the sequence, of one of the sequence. So this is the second sequence, and then it will check uh, whether we need whether this set has 201 consecutive number in the set or not. 201 is present or not. If it does not contain this 201, it will just end it up. So it is one of the sequence, but the consecutive number, there is no consecutive number, only one is there, so the length is 1. So similarly, when it reaches over here, it will again check whether this one is a starting point of the like of a sequence or not. So it will check 0 is present in this set or not. If the 0 is not present, it is the starting point of another sequence. So, and then it will check the whether 2 is present in the set or not. 2 is definitely present, so it will just make it a point that 2 is a consecutive sequence. Then it will check 3 is there in the set or not. So 3 is there. So that's how it's just going to check every consecutive element, and then will end the loop over here. So the third sequence with a length of 4, it will just store it. So that's how we just want to proceed it. We are just iterating through this array once. So the time complexity is on, and since we are taking extra space, so the space complexity would be on. So that's how we can deal with this problem. So let's code this up. This is the Leetcode 128 longest consecutive sequence question, and now we are going to code it. Okay, so just taking the set of num set, taking a variable where we can save the longest length of the sequence, and loop to loop for iterating every element in nums. Then we're just going to take the length variable again. First of all, we are just going to check whether that number has the left neighbor to it or not. So checking it is whether that number has a left neighbor present in the num set. If it is not present, not in, we are just going to um, take another variable called length. We will initialize at 0, and we will just check whether the number, now since the number has no left neighbor to it, that means that number is the starting point. And if that is a starting point of any sequence, then we need to just check whether that number has the consecutive numbers are there in the num set. If it has a consecutive number, then we are going to just iterate. Okay, so we will just count what is the it's what's the length of it. Okay, so that's how we are going to check the length of it, and we are going to save the maximum of whichever from the length and the longest, and then we are going to save our results in the longest variable, and we are going to return the longest variable. All right, so that's it. We are just going to run and check whether I guess I have made some error over here, and all right. Mm-hmm. Maybe something test cases are in still. Okay, so our test case is accepted. Now we're just going to submit it and just check whether it's running or not. So it's a medium lead code question. Yes, it's accepted. As you can see, it's accepted. Okay, so that was the question, and that was the way we can, do it in ON time complexity, because we're just going iterating through it only once by taking an extra space of ON. So yeah, thank you.